Welcome back to There Is No America Without Erica, and we all need a little Erica in our life. A gun company has just been hit with a $104 million verdict after selling an 18-year-old a handgun building kit online. The company was Husky Armory. The younger man later completed the handgun and tragically used it to take his own life. That is really sad. That tragedy is now being used to send a much larger message to every company selling unfinished frames, receivers, gun building kits, and possibly even ordinary serialized firearms. But there is a major piece of the story that needs to be explained. There's always an explanation to a story. But when Husky Armory sold this kit, the federal government, the lower courts, the appeals court, and eventually Supreme Court were fighting over whether products like this were legally firearms at all. The rule had been issued, then it was struck down, then the Supreme Court temporarily brought it back, then the Fifth Circuit struck it down again. Then the Supreme Court ultimately upheld parts of it. Husky Armory landed right in the middle of that regulatory disaster, and then when the lawsuit was filed, the company apparently did not even show up to defend itself. So let's talk through what happened, what law said at each stage, and how a small online gun business ended up with a $104 million judgment hanging over it. This is not legal advice. This is an explanation of the case, the allegations, and the court decisions surrounding it. Now, Husky Armory was a relatively new company. According to Wisconsin corporate records, Husky Armory LLC was officially organized in February of 2023. The registered agent was Cody York, and the company originally listed an address in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is not far from us. Its parent company was allegedly Up North Media LLC. Husky's business included selling Palomar 80 style frames, slides, parts, magazines, and kits that customers could complete at home. These products are commonly called 80% frames, or ghost gun kits. Although 80% is not actually a legal category written into federal law. It is basically an industry term describing an unfinished item that the seller claims has not yet reached the legal point where it became a regulated frame or receiver. And privately manufacturing a firearm for your own lawful use has traditionally been legal under federal law, provided you are not prohibited from possessing firearms and you are not manufacturing firearms as a business without the required license. That history is why unfinished receivers and home builds existed for decades without every chunk of metal or polymer automatically being treated as a gun. Our store is one of the few ways left to directly support what we do. We have MREs, Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, Streamlight products, slings, targets, cleaning mats, and a whole bunch of other gear over at onlytacticalfans.myshopify.com. Every order helps us continue producing videos like this without depending on the companies and platforms that have already decided they do not like us very much. The problem began when ATF decided that the old frame and receiver regulations did not cover modern gun building kits. Under the Gun Control Act, the word firearm includes an actual weapon that expels a projectile, a weapon designed to do so, a weapon that may readily be converted to do so, and the frame or receiver of such a weapon. For decades, ATF generally treated one completed central component as a regulated firearm. On a handgun, that was usually the frame. On an AR-15, that was traditionally the lower receiver. The rest of the parts could generally be purchased without going through a licensed dealer. But ATF argued, of course they argued, that companies had begun packaging nearly complete frames with all the tools and parts necessary to finish a working handgun while claiming that nothing in the box was legally a firearm. Now, in April of 2022, the Biden administration published ATF Final Rule of 2021R 05F, commonly called the Frame and Receiver Rule. It took effect on August 24th of 2022. The rule did several things, but two provisions became the center of the Supreme Court case. First, ATF said certain weapons part kits could themselves be firearms when they were designed to, or could readily be completed or assembled into a working weapon. Second, ATF expanded the definition of a frame or receiver to include certain partially complete, disassembled, or non-functional frames and receivers that could readily be completed. That meant ATF could look at factors including the amount of time required, the difficulty, the tools required, the expertise needed, and whether the necessary parts and instructions were readily available. ATF said raw materials still would not qualify. A block of aluminum, liquid polymer, an unformed forging, or something that had not reached the stage where it was clearly identifiable as an unfinished gun component was supposed to remain outside the rule. But once an unfinished object looked enough like a receiver and could be completed easily enough, ATF claimed the authority to regulate it as a firearm. Now, once classified as a firearm, the commercial seller generally needed a federal firearms license. The manufacturer had to mark it with a serial number, sales had to be recorded, the buyer had to complete the normal paperwork and pass a background check, and because federal law generally prohibits an FFL from transferring a handgun directly to someone younger than 21, an 18-year-old could not simply order that handgun from a licensed dealer and have it mailed to his house. Gun right groups, manufacturers, Palomar 80 Defense distributed, the Second Amendment Foundation, JSD Supply, and other plaintiffs challenged the ATF's rule in federal court in Texas. Their argument was fairly straightforward. Congress wrote that the frame or receiver of a weapon is a firearm. Congress did not write that something that may eventually become a frame or receiver is already a frame or receiver. The Gun Control Act expressly uses the phrase may readily be converted when discussing a weapon, but Congress did not repeat that language in the separate section covering frames and receivers. The challengers argued that ATF had taken language Congress placed in one portion of the law and inserted it into another portion where Congress had left it out. The district court agreed with them. Now on June 30th of 2023, Judge Reed O'Connor vacated the challenged rule. The court concluded that ATF had exceeded the authority Congress gave it by treating items that were admittedly not yet frames or receivers as though they already were frames or receivers. And this date matters enormously in the Husky Armory story. Now, 6 days after the rule was vacated on July 6 of 2023, 18-year-old Henry Willis went to Husky Armory's website. According to the lawsuit, he purchased a Palomar 80 Glock 19 style build kit for $499.99 and a 15-round Magpul magazine for $25.99. The complaint says Husky Armory did not require him to upload an identification card or otherwise prove his age. It allegedly required him only to check a box stating that he was older than 21 and accepted the website's terms. The complaint also says he communicated with the company about an accidental duplicate order, received a partial refund, and had at least one telephone interaction connected to the company. Now, Husky allegedly shipped the order from Wisconsin on July 19th. The package was delivered in Kentucky on July 24th. The kit Husky sold allegedly did not include the jig used to guide the final mechanicking work. Henry reportedly purchased a jig separately from another online seller on July 26th. That distinction could have mattered. The product repeatedly discussed by ATF and eventually by the Supreme Court was Palomar 80's Buy, Build, Shoot kit. That package included a nearly complete frame, the other gun parts, and a jig. ATF said a novice could turn the package into a working handgun using common tools in approximately 21 minutes. The Husky kit allegedly contained a similar completed Palomar 80 frame and the major components, but it did not contain the jig. The plaintiffs argued that the jig was not a gun component and was not necessary for the kit to legally qualify as a firearm. A defense attorney could have argued that the missing jig made the Husky packaging materially different from the exact packaging the ATF used as its prime example. We do not know how a judge or jury would have resolved that argument because Husky Armory apparently never made it. After the kit was delivered, Henry completed the handgun. 6 days after delivery, he tragically took his own life with it. That's really fucking sad. His family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Kentucky State Court on July 28th of 2025. The complaint accused the companies of negligence and alleged that they were illegally selling firearms without an FFL, without serialization, without background checks, without meaningful age verification, and directly across state lines to customers' homes. The family argued that Henry could not have illegally purchased a completed handgun from an ordinary gun store because he was only 18. At a licensed dealer, he would have been required to show identification, complete a Form 4473, pass a background check, and comply with the federal restriction on dealer handgun sales to anyone under 21. The complaint also accused the defendant of designing their business model to avoid those safeguards. They did not answer the lawsuit, they did not appear and defend themselves. The court therefore entered a default judgment on liability. That is a critical distinction. This was not a normal trial where the family presented its version, Husky presented its defense. Experts fought over the legal status of the frame, and the jury decided which side was right. By failing to respond, the defendants effectively lost the liability portion by default. The two-day jury proceeding in July 2026 was primarily about damages. The jury awarded approximately $4.2 million in economic damages and another $100 million in punitive damages. That's a lot of fucking damages. That produced a total verdict of approximately like $104.2 million. It has been described as the largest verdict ever entered against a gun seller. But there was a complicated legal history that the jury apparently never heard from Husky's side. Now remember, the ATF's rule was vacated on June 30th of 2023. Henry placed the order on July 6th. The final judgment vacating the rule was entered on July 5th. The company shipped the kit on July 19th. The Supreme Court did not stay the district court's judgment and restore ATF's rule during the appeal until August 8th of 2023. So during the period when the purchase and the shipment occurred, the nationwide ATF rule had been vacated by a federal judge. That argument was never properly developed because Husky did not participate. Husky Armory sold a product during the narrow window when the rule had been vacated and then apparently abandoned the one opportunity it had to explain that timeline in court. Now there is a $104 million verdict, a dissolved gun company, and a legal strategy that other activists will almost certainly attempt to repeat. That is the real story, not simply that another gun company disappeared. It is that regulatory confusions, civil litigation, and the company's complete failure to defend itself combined to create one of the largest verdicts the firearms industry has ever seen. Let me know what you guys think. And was Husky Armory operating recklessly and finally held accountable? Did the company believe it had no assets worth defending, or did it hand gun control organizations a massive victory by refusing to show up and make arguments that may have changed the entire case? You can support the channel by checking out onlytechnicalfans.myshopify.com. We have MREs, target slings, cleaning mats, Streamlight products, Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and other gear that helps keep these videos going. We appreciate every order, every share, and everyone who continues supporting us despite every effort to shut our voices and our business down. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.